Stephanie Reuler. Stephanie does so many different things. She is a producer of film and music, a writer, a festival programmer. Stephanie, thank you so much for being on our show.
Oh, my absolute pleasure, Jessica. Thank you and Maeya TV so much for having me. What a treat.
So let's start at the very beginning. How did you get into the film and entertainment industry?
Uh, it was totally random. I thought I was gonna be a veterinarian, and I wrote a story that had a lot of dialogue, and my professors were like, "Oh my gosh, you should go into Hollywood." And lo and behold, that's what I did. And it was just a neat journey of finding a part of myself I didn't really know was there. Was something I always loved, but growing up where I did, nobody really thought about going into entertainment at that point. So it was a real journey, and getting my family to understand that I wasn't doing a typical thing that they expect you to do from college.
So you started, well, first you ran in like the agency world, right?
Yeah, I very early I was a script reader while I was in college, and then I worked at a production company at Fox, and then from a relationship I had there, the agency, a young agent at the agency called me and needed an assistant, and so I went over to Innovative Artists, and was promoted quite quickly, and was an agent there for 7 years.
And you were very successful there. You discovered someone who now everyone knows.
That is true. That is true. I was very lucky. I always had a love for writer directors, and when I was an agent, I was both a below the line agent, and then I became a literary agent. And when I was trying to kind of build my roster of literary clients, a friend who is now a huge producer as well, named Aaron Ryder, sent me a tape to look at that had nothing. It was a rough cut of a movie shot in black and white with nothing about it, and just said, "Look at it and tell me what you think." And I saw it and I loved it, and it ended up being Chris Nolan's early cut of Following. And then from that, I brought Chris into the agency. Todd Shulkin and I were his team, and we sold Memento.
Wow. Um, so you've seen that project through from the very beginning.
Yes.
So what was it like working with Chris Nolan in his very beginning?
He was, well, we were friends, and so it was fun. And it was based off of his brother Jonas, who's now also, person of interest, Westworld, etc. Short story. And Chris was just beginning to write the script when we signed him, and he's a delight. Smart, amazing, talented. Emma, his producing partner and wife, is a delight. Aaron Ryder is amazing. Everybody I had the pleasure and luck to work with was amazing human, and wonderful collaborators and friends. And as an agent, you don't get to be super creative. You get, but Chris was always very open to any feedback or anything, and was I was lucky enough to be friends and get to work with him.
Now, you've made the move from representing people to creating things on your own.
Yes.
What led you to make that change?
Well, that's always what I wanted to be doing. A lot of people, their dream was to be an agent, and I loved being an agent, and it was an amazing education, and almost, a huge amount of my relationships are from that part of my life. But I was always a creator myself and a creative person, and I wanted to work on my own things and have a more creative role, writing, producing, directing stuff, and not just being stuck doing a deal.
So, how has that background in being an agent helped you as a creator?
It's helped me because like I said, I have a ton of relationships with people, and also kind of a confidence of being able to call people I don't know necessarily. Also, having I was lucky enough to be told by people I have good taste, so I think it's helped me to also be able to be a better creative myself and give better feedback to collaborators, um, that so that I could do that with. I mean, it also gives you a realistic view of what the business is, and you don't have any sort of Pollyanna, um, ideas about how things are going to go for you. Gets just gets discovered by doing nothing. Everybody, even if they seem like they were found out of nowhere, has been doing it for years, since they were kids or whatever. I mean, Chris and Rocco Bellic, and Adrian Bellic, award-winning documentarians, like they were making movies together as kids. He did not come out of nowhere. Nobody does. Everybody's working on their craft, and I think that I have my background gives me a good background of what the business is, what the creativity is, and how to get people to get along and bring things together. I a good connector, I guess.
Now, you founded your own production company.
Yes, yeah. So I've been a partner in another production company called Scenario Entertainment. Sorry, Scenario Entertainment, where I've been a senior partner. And recently, the last few years, I created my own production company that I'm a principal in, along with a filmmaker, creative, multifaceted musician named GB Young. And we have been making some short films and uh, creating um, uh, creating content. I have a cooking show, and then also we're writing, scripts for stuff, and we collaborate on a lot of things. And we just did a new album of GB Young's band.
So that's a new avenue for you because you have this background in film,
Yeah.
and suddenly you're producing music.
I know, it's kind of crazy. It's because GB Young is very talented, and he does a lot of different things, and music is one of them. And the music stuff for him has started to really take off in the last few years, even though he was like signed back in the 90s. But he's been doing he's been getting a lot of play around where the South Bay area. He's Best of Hermosa and the last 2 years nominations, and playing all the big events. He's played House of Blues in the Founder Room. He's playing a bunch in wine country. And so it just kind of naturally, organically happened. And so he's got a trio. It's the Real GB Young and the Wandering Souls. And they just put out this Americana folk blues type album, which is really, a lot of people are loving that kind of music. It's just organically happening because he comes from like EDM. So it's an interesting transition of just this music that started to just come from the muse for him.
So how did you meet him and start working with him?
Well, that's kind of a funny story. We met, and we are partners in multiple ways. And so we met online, and then started collaborating in our lives on every level.
So what kind of things are you producing together?
We produced a couple short films that are in the film festival world, and then we've got another short we're about to shoot, and that I'm producing and he's directing, and that we wrote. And yeah, and then we've got two features at a big buyer right now. One I'm a producer on, and one I'm also a writer on. That hopefully moves forward, which would be great. But we've been trying to design projects that we can shoot ourselves, and we can kind of do everything in house if we have to. So we are the green light ourselves, Ted Hope, make it happen team of, we love to have as many collaborators as we can, but you can't always afford that, or it doesn't always work out. And sometimes it's just, the last short we did, three friends in a friend's house, and he and I, and that was it. And it was super fun. And we just love making stuff. And so we'd love to make some bigger stuff, but that's the kind of stuff we're doing right now.
Now, one of the projects that you've been working on is you've written a children's book.
Yes. So yeah, so this is fantasy, and this book was published in 2022 by blah 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 press, and available on Amazon. And it's a really it started from a scuba diving trip I did in New Zealand. My dive master was a marine biologist, and we started talking about orcas and dolphins, and that inspired the story. And it's sort of a Lion King type story under the sea with orcas and dolphins. And it's just because something's your job doesn't mean it's okay to do if it's morally wrong. It's about friendship and tolerance and empathy. And it's really like there is a Bambi type death in it. So it's like a 7 to 12 kind of category, but we love it, and we're hoping to turn it into an animated franchise. We have proposals for both a series and prequel sequels as features, and then I'd like to do a book series with it. So it's kind of just the start of it, but hope to do a lot more with it in the animated world, and we're excited about it.
So this is like a middle grade book directed at 7 to 12. What made you want to write for that age range?
It just again organically kind of happened. I've always loved, like Madeline L'Engle and C.S. Lewis, and different kind of YA authors. And I was a big voracious reader, still read quite a bit as a child, and a big watcher of shows. And I think it's just those books. I love those types of books, and the story just seemed to lend itself to that age range. Um, you know, and it just was a lot of fun, and it just kind of happened. I think it wasn't like I was like, I want to write a YA book, or but it was like that's when you don't know where your story is going to take you as a creative, and the worst thing you can do is try to rein your story into something it's not. You always want to be able to let the story take you in the best possible way, and whatever makes it the strongest, that's what you want to do. And so that's how this book, I think, came into that.
And you want this to be like an animated franchise.
Mhm.
So what do you think it would be like seeing this animated? Like, how do you imagine it looking, the visual style?
I would love it. I mean, I think and there's so many forms of animation. I think kind of the more, traditional type animation, or, not like a stop motion or anything like that. I don't, I mean, like a Tim Burton type animation, I don't think would be the right style, even though I love them. I would see it, more. I mean, it could be like very Pixar. I think like my dream would be Pixar. you know, Anything Pixar. But that kind of traditional animation like that would be my dream for this.
Mhm.
Or it could just also be like a normal cartoon type show for the show itself, if when the shows happen.
Now, on top of all this, you've also been very involved in the film festival world.
Yes.
So you work as a programmer for Slamdance as well as several other festivals, right?
I've only been a programmer for Slam Dance, but I've been a festival judge or juror at other festivals. So yeah, so Slam Dance, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it is a very big indie festival, and has discovered a lot of wonderful people, including Chris Nolan and the Russo brothers, um, and very kind of grassroots filmmakers, I would say. And it's recently moved to Los Angeles. This was our second year in LA. But yeah, I've been programming for them for 5 or 6 years now. And then I've been a judge at the Denver Film Festival, the Cambria Film Festival, Dallas DocuFest, Harvard Wood Pilot Contest, different stuff where I've gotten to be the sort of tastemaker person on that.
So, what kind of films does Slamdance look for?
Unique voices. What we want are, you know, really unique stories, unique storytellers. We're more into a great story, great performances than perfect production design. Um, we're really about finding the diamonds in the rough and championing them and helping them move their careers forward.
Um, and Stephanie, before we finish here, are there any projects that are coming up that you want us to look out for?
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I have, a TV show we're hoping to get set up soon. And we have, I hope this is this is going to get it set up soon. We have a few features out there. We have a short film we're about to start shooting called The Goat, which we hope will do real well at festivals and do some things. And uh, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, so much of what I have I can't really talk about in detail. But we have, several feature scripts and some TV stuff. I have a cooking show called Steph Cooks Stuff. There's also one out of Australia. That's not me. She's a lady with big glasses and white hair. Uh, and but she's got a great show too. So we're going to have new episodes of that coming out soon, and I have the website as well. And yeah, we just are creating a lot of different stuff. And then music wise, the Real GB Young and the Wandering Souls, we can sell you a CD if you're interested. But it's on all the streamings, and I'd love for you to check it out. Um, yeah, I think the music stuff, because he's got a lot of gigs coming, and shooting our short are probably the next
Mm-hmm.
right away, and then hopefully get our feature set up and our show set up.
I want to know about this cooking show. What kind of things are you cooking?
Oh, thank you. It's it's kind of a lifestyle cooking show because I'm a bit like a mad scientist, and I started doing it during COVID, just because I love cooking and it was very therapeutic for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I grow some of the stuff I cook with, and I just am take like I don't use recipes that much. Inspiration, just like looking through, but I just kind of look at what's in my fridge
Mm-hmm.
and in my pantry, and I make stuff out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of I try to teach people to like be not scared to be creative and have
Mm-hmm.
fun with food. And I also try not to waste food. So like repurposing, something you've already made into something different. It's a lot of fun. It's really just it's like a super fun project that I love doing. Um, and it got me probably more comfortable in front of the camera because I'm
Good.
usually behind the camera. So yeah, so it's just it's fun. Sometimes we'll do it. We're about to start shooting some new stuff, but like do dinner parties and cook stuff for the dinner party, or different make different things, and they're all short little episodes, like 3 minutes ish. They're fun.
Now, where can our viewers watch it?
Oh, you can watch it on YouTube on my YouTube channel. And Steph Cooks Stuff, you can watch it on my website, which is steph.cooksstuff.com. And yeah, so those are the main. It's also you can follow Steph Cooks Stuff HB on Insta. I post them on there and on Facebook as Steph Cooks Stuff. So it's a fun side project. I'm creative people. We're hard to just rein into one thing.
Oh, Steph, thank you so much for coming onto my TV and sharing all of the things you're doing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, for watching. We have more interviews coming up, and we hope you stick with us because this will be our last day of my TV for the season. So please stay with us. We have so many more interviews coming up. Bye.